Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Rockin' Beards podcast. It's your boy HSR.
What up, it's Syd.
Opening up files as I introduce, rudely not even looking at you. I apologize. Anyhow, as you can see, we got this little amateur operation going. We are some dudes who review these albums, go through it track by track, and offer our opinion. And I say this just so you know, we're not the most astute scholars right off the jump, and you can now come in and just get some regular conversation going. And it should be a conversation. That's why comments, feel free to leave those. Before we jump in, and you can skip whatever and see when it exactly starts in the description, I do want to give a quick shout out to our patrons, Linda Williams, Mozart, and Super Old School 1994. And yeah, they're awesome, and we'll talk about that at the end. And then I do want to just kind of comment on our favorite comment from last week's video, which, holy shit, I can't remember what it was.
It was from a guy who said we should review Iowa by Slipknot because he liked our Slipknot review.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what the comment was, because y'all going to be doing Iowa by Oh, fuck. It was Rage Against the Machine. That's what we did last week. And that, yeah, anyway. So on that, he said y'all going to be doing Iowa by Slipknot at some point. That'd be cool because we did Volume 3, I assume. And I thought it was cool that he had 1,062 subscribers but no content. And
What's his name?
It's You'll Find Out.
You'll find out.
And you'll find out in the future when we do it. But I just thought that was noteworthy.
It is something that we've discussed, though, so...
basically, yeah, there's certain bands where I think we're going to run through multiple albums of them, but it's totally worth giving it a couple of months before, like, in my opinion, revisiting some stuff.
But just lay that down. We've already done a couple of Marilyn Manson albums. We've done a couple of Oasis albums.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to do more Oasis, because even the Oasis
I don't think we're going to
fans,
do more Oasis albums.
It's definitely possible to do more Manson. Definitely possible.
Let's do more Slipknot first.
Yeah, we can do that. Anyway, that's not why we're here. I guess we should just get into this one then. So all these metal bands are very different from, I guess, what we're talking about tonight. So why don't you introduce this week?
Today we are talking about Blink-182's Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, which was the first rock CD I ever purchased. I purchased a bootleg copy in Europe. So it had it was in a plastic wrap, and it had a printed version of the cover, and it was just like Blink-182, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket written on a disc.
That's amazing.
It was great. I bought it for like $1.50. I also bought Alanis Morissette. I don't remember what the title was. I bought that for my mom.
The Jagged Little Pill.
Maybe.
That's
I don't
like
remember
the only album
title.
anybody ever. Anyway, I'm wrong.
I don't remember what the title was, but and I bought another record too. I don't remember what it was, but Blink-182 stuck with me. So I've been listening to Blink-182 for a very, very, very long time. I was 9 years old.
I mean, that's fair. Like, I know Blink before this album, because like Small Things hit the radio, and it was so mom friendly.
Yeah, I mean, I knew all the Small Things before I bought this album too. Like that came out when I was like 6.
What's My Age Again was also fucking a mega hit. I mean, everybody knew Damn It.
I remember listening to What's My Age Again. It came on in the car, and it got to the line, she took off my pants, and then I turned on the TV, and my mom turned off the radio. She was like, "What is this smut?" She couldn't handle it.
My mom my dad was more like that. My mom was a little chiller about that shit.
I had to explain this CD to her. I was like, yes, there are swear words, but it's happy music, which is a lie. I mean, it is happy music comparatively, but...
I also bought this disc, and I'm like 95% certain that the cover of Take Off Your Pants and Jacket that I had did not have the explicit lyrical content sticker on it. It was explicit.
It's possible, but it's very explicit. It's a very explicit record.
So I had the red disc, I believe it was, because let's just touch on the bonus ones. We're not going to talk about those now, but for the initial and limited release, I found out, so somehow I got this copy of it. They had the red disc, the yellow disc, and the green disc, and each represented a different member. I know Tom was the red one because he's the plane, and he did not want to be a plane because he fucking didn't like planes at that time, which is a little bit kind of ironic, but... He really didn't want to be the plane, but they were like, fuck it, nope, we're going to be your pants and your jacket. Like the name comes from one of the engineers or somebody affiliated with them was in an airport while they were trying to come up with a name and heard one of the parents say to a kid, take off your pants and jacket. And he thought it was hilarious because and I didn't know this until like fucking this week, take off your pants and jacket. And I was like, holy shit.
You didn't get that?
Not until this fucking week. My whole life, I just was like, whatever. It's called Take Off Your Pants and Jacket. Like, why would I even think about jacking it? Like, it just never occurred to me.
I mean, I didn't get it when I was a kid, and my mom didn't get it either. But
Yeah,
it
my
didn't
mom
take me
didn't
very
either.
long into my teenage years to be like, oh, that's what Blink-182 was
I
talking
mean,
about.
I literally just, this week, when I was reading the wiki page and it said it blatantly, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's the most immature album title, I think.
It's right up there with
Ever.
If You See Me. It's
Yeah,
right up
it's-
there.
And chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water.
That's not so clever.
This is not clever. This is not a clever title.
But at least it's a legitimate
it's a funny
pun.
title.
It's a legitimate pun.
Sure.
Chocolate starfish and the hot dog flavored water can't be considered that. It's just not. It's not.
They're in the same league.
Of potty, yes. Not
Yeah.
not of writing prowess. Either way, this album was fucking like I just as a kid, this is like back when we had CD players. I may have listened to this thousands of times.
Yeah.
I loved this project. I never played track 4 when my parents were around, but I love this
I
project.
played it for my mom. I was like, look, swearing
Yeah.
can be funny. And then she started to lighten up like, okay.
Yeah, that would never have. My dad would have like snapped the disc or some shit like that.
But we're not on track 4 yet. We're not even on track 1 yet.
No, but this cover, yeah, well, we're just contextualizing for the fucking people. They might care. If you don't care, you can let me know. We're still gonna do it next time. I like this cover because it's so simple and it's so like cool because like it's just black. It says Blink-182 with the circles and the colors, and then they have the little icons, the pants, the jackets, the plane, and then every song inside you find out gets its own little like fucking icon, which I didn't bother to put in this video, but they all have one if you want to look it up online, and I thought it was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
And Tom left liner notes in the tour thing, so thankfully the fine folk at the Genius website put it there, and that gave us some insight. Anyway,
Not
I
that
don't know.
these songs are overly vague.
Yeah, no, but still, it's good to know how Tom felt, you know? Anyway, we all know how he felt on this album, I guess. We'll find out. I don't know. Anthem Part 2 is the first track here. So-
elect them.
So yeah, like right off the jump, I mean, I'm like a young teenager and I'm just discovering what punk is. I don't care how punk or not you want to call Blink, but relative to pop music, this is kind of on the punker side of things. This particular track, it comes in and I haven't heard much that sounded like this before, so you can say that this is one of my intros to punk later on in life. Yes, I grow into real punk. This was an
No,
intro.
I mean, it's funny because I remember starting a band in the 8th grade and being like, we have to be like Blink-182, the first and only real punk band. Like, I knew nothing about punk rock music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah, this one is good.
this song is cool if you look at. So I'm gonna go into the history of Blink for a second.
Go
But,
ahead.
like you look at how, because it's part 2, right? And the Anthem Part 1 was what closed off their last album, Enema of the State, or the album before this. And this, it's not just a sequel to that song, but it's a signaling of a more serious Blink. Like, up until this point, their songs had pretty much been about watching women through windows and masturbating and, like, going out and partying. Like, that was who Blink was, right?
Yeah,
And then
like, they were
this
silly.
song comes along, and this is not a silly song, right? Like, it's still really juvenile, but
But it's not okay. I don't know if it's juvenile in a very technical sense of the word because it's young, but it's not immature.
it's... I would say this song is immature. There are image...
There are immature moments.
It's
on
very angsty. It's very immature, but it's not. It doesn't come from a dishonest place. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like it.
Well, I can say I'm 30 and I agree with this song, so it's not the most dishonest place.
It's. I like this song. I like the
do.
energy a lot. I feel like this record is the sweet spot between what they were and what they became.
I agree.
And I love immature Blink. Like, I love all of Blink-182's
but,
early
like-
records. You know what I mean?
I mean, this like everything is falling to pieces. Earth is dying. Help me, Jesus. That's not really that immature. It's kind of a pretty apt description of
But it's
we need guidance. We've been misled, young and hostile, but not stupid. It's pretty apt.
corporate leaders, politicians,
So he's
kids
describing,
can't kids can't vote. Adults elect
You
them.
know
But,
what?
like,
I actually really fucking like that line. I was thinking about it, and I'm like, it's not something that gets said a lot, right? Like,
But, like, I
'cause
remember-
we as kids get, especially. I mean, think about it now in the millennial argument. We inherited a bunch of shit, right? And it was all like from that time when kids couldn't vote, we were kids, and adults elected all these decisions that happened that impacted us that we're now getting blamed for, is just my stance on a lot of this. And it really stems from that core idea. Like older, 20, 30 years older than us people have made some shitty ass decisions and now are now blaming our incompetence for a world we can't compete in where they expect us to be them and shit.
Right. But I mean, it's a silly complaint to make, I think. I remember being 10 years old and being like, yeah, why can't I vote? And then growing up and being like, oh yeah, because I was a fucking kid. Obviously, I shouldn't have been able to vote.
But
you know
I
what I mean?
I think it's like, because the following line is laws that rule the school and workplace,
signs that caution 16's unsafe. Like,
I mean,
what signs are cautioning 16's unsafe?
I would say, have you taught? This is actually something I've encountered a lot lately, where people act like these 16-year-olds are the fucking terror of the world, like they're gonna ruin everything, like they just the way they live.
And is there a sign?
Yeah, the people. Okay, I don't think there's a sign, so I'm not arguing this from my point of view. You need before you come at me. But the ignorant out there look at the way the kids play Call of Duty, or the fact that Twitch is a thing, and especially technology and how they rely on it. They call that a sign that 16's unsafe. And I think it's a really fair thing, because this type of attitude isn't really, it's the same thing that was happening 20 years ago with those people. So I understand that it's presented, but it's presented in a way for both 16-year-olds to relate to while still being understandable at a more level. So it's juvenile, but it's not immature to me. It's a way of relating.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's like Sesame Street.
I love this song because of nostalgia and because it's very well written. The melodies are great. I think it's a great pump up. But I don't relate to this song the way I did when I was younger. You know what I mean?
Like, I feel like I relate to it more now than I did when I was 16, in terms of where I'm at in life and some of the more like frustrations I have with the world.
I mean, it's drown the youth with useless warnings, teenage rules, they're fucked and boring. Like, it's a cool line,
okay,
but it's silly. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
but the drown our youth with useless warnings is okay. The teenage rules are fucked and boring. I get that line is a throwaway.
Are the warnings really useless? Like, as you get older, you realize, that's why I was being warned not to do that, because
actually,
it's a stupid thing to do,
I would
and you're
say
going to hurt
on
yourself.
the other hand, there are so many useless warnings I've encountered every day of my life today that the same people were giving us those the 20 years ago. And I'm sorry, but there's a lot of people who give useless warnings based off of antiquated norms. And so they want to retain the way life was 30 years ago. So they give you these warnings, oh, don't do this or don't do that. They're fucking useless because they don't make sense anymore. They haven't adapted to the newer era. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying that, like, in the grand scheme of things, this shit that they're talking about exists and is relatable.
But not on, like...
This isn't like don't cross the fucking train tracks while you're smashed. This is more like don't fucking learn how to play video games, or don't learn how to do these things because I think it's stupid. Go outside and do this because I used to do it like that. This is more that level of thinking. Where
that's a way of looking at it. Like, that's not how I see warnings. You know what I mean? To me, a warning is coming from someone who lived that, and because like I went through a huge party phase from like 16 to like 25, you know what I mean? And like coming out of it. And I've made some fucking stupid mistakes that people told me you're gonna fuck up. And it's not that I wish I hadn't done them, but I'm glad that people were around to tell me this is a stupid idea.
See, on the other hand, what I've had to deal with a very very different thing, because I didn't have that problem. I had more things like fashion or style or the way I speak, or like the fact that I rely heavily on technology, or things like that have been brought up against me, and warnings about how to live my life at a fundamental level gets questioned by so many people.
So another thing is, I wish I had dressed better for job interviews and for professional and for school and for, because I would have gotten better opportunities earlier. You know what I mean? Fashion.
But I'm not talking about, like, I never made those mistakes. For me, I'm talking about, like, day-to-day, regular shit. Like, wearing a band shirt at 24 is not the biggest deal, in my opinion.
No, but wearing a band shirt to an interview.
Every interview I've done, I'm in a suit, whether it's Wendy's or fucking anything. I walked into a Wendy's in a fucking suit one time. So, like, for me, that's never been a concern. But on the other hand, the fact that maybe I've had dreams has challenged everybody around me, and I've gotten warnings about the safe life and the this and the that stuff to get in the way of me. And for a long time, I believed people, and it got in the way of like actually chasing my ambition.
Anyway,
so that when I hear this song, I'm just trying, because this is probably an interesting debate for them, right? Like, this is
I mean, I don't want to argue about it too much, but like.
Anyway, I just wanted to express that I don't think that I think that they were coming more from a place of artists being throttled than it. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe it's all because they're.
It's just to me, it's not as relatable as it used to be. You know what I mean? Like I can't throw on this record and be like, yeah, like fuck, they're fucked and boring. Like, yeah, but
I'll give it to you.
know,
I have no defense of that particular line, but literally everything else, like we really need to see this through. We never wanted to be abused. We'll never give up. It's no use. If we're fucked up, you're to blame.
Sure.
To me, that's one of the most relatable lines I've heard.
But I also
in
I
ages.
hate throwing blame, right? Like in general, like if my life is
know.
fucked up, I'm to blame. You know
completely
what I mean?
get
If
that.
society is fucked up, the people who fucked it up are to blame. Absolutely.
But at that level, that's what they're saying there.
Yeah,
and I
but
really
also don't stand there and point fingers. Fix it. You know what I mean?
completely agree with you.
So there's a level of and in a lot of this is my problem with a lot of punk songs is that there's a lot of like this is your fault and your fault and your fault and your fault as opposed to like we are going to take this and fix it.
Just on the same thing, we'll never give up. It's no use. At the same time, like I feel like there is that sense within Blink to keep going. I don't feel like it's like maybe there's a heavier emphasis on blame, but I don't feel like the message they're sending is fucking give up. They're saying the world's fucked. We're not going to stop, but fuck you. And I kind of like that message. Anyway,
Yes.
4.5 on 5 for me. I really dig this song. I think it's got a great energy to it. I could probably listen to this most days and feel it.
It's a 4.2 for me.
Fair enough. I can't make the same defense intellectually of online songs.
Why am I still hanging around when I know it brings me down? I'm hating everything.
We didn't even mention it one time because we're fucking idiots. But Travis, how do we skip Travis in the
Oh, don't
last
worry.
song?
We're going to talk about him.
I mean, like, it's just so much more prominent on this track, I think, than it was in the last one. But even there,
I disagree.
no, I mean, like, I'm going to say, but even there, Travis is the star of this album, in my opinion. I didn't notice it before I had good headphones in my life. But holy fuck,
Yeah.
did I trip balls to the drums the whole way through on every song.
Oh, yeah. And then, like, he is not only an incredibly gifted melodic drummer, but he's also very versatile, which I think a lot of people don't give him enough credit for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can hear it on this record. Like, he can adapt to the simplest, stupidest groove.
On top of that, because basically this album was recorded during a creative rut. So Mark wanted to recreate Enema. Tom is going into the moody of moodies.
Right.
And Travis is like, I want to play more hip hop and funk. So he added hip hop and funk to this album in his drummings, in all of it. And he just blended so many styles that, like, I don't know, it just comes off exactly like what you were saying. And I like that. I like how you got that contrast on this project.
And I mean, like, I don't think it's a mistake that he is probably point for point the most successful member of Blink-182, even though he was the last one to join the band. Like, on Damn It, the recording, that's not Travis Barker.
I know.
You know what I mean?
He comes on at Enema.
Yeah.
And
But I mean, he's
his
you know,
solo projects,
he's worked with
everybody.
every rapper. He's worked with every producer. He's worked with
he literally performed live at the Grammys with Eminem.
yeah,
I mean, and Drake and Kanye and fucking Weezy.
yeah.
That's the lineup of modern pop rappers that you could perform with at the highest.
Yeah.
So that Travis, we've now praised him.
So are we talking about?
Online songs. Josie. This one is definitely Tom sings it. I'm so confused
It is
between the
not.
two. It's Mark?
It's Mark.
Fuck my life.
Mark Hoppus.
So yeah, broke up, and you know I got the lyrics here, but basically the gist of this one is he's frustrated because she's changed her screen name, and it's no longer like on him, focusing on him. And this reminded me of MSN Messenger and I guess ICQ. I never played on that one, but it's the kind of shit you would do, trade screen names and whatnot. And I don't know. Lyrically, it's fine. And the only part of the song that really, really I love lyrically, because, like, frankly, I don't care what he says in the verses for how dope the music is, for how great the energy on this track is, for all of that. But it's that na 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 na. I just forgot you were there. As like one of my favorite parts of this entire album is just the way that they bounce so well off of each other in those moments, because they're not really sharing tracks a lot on this album. I don't know if that's something they always did, but I feel like they did it a little more later on in their career.
I think they did it later on. Well, starting with this record, they did it more.
But like, because like to me, the way they sound together is fucking flawless. Like they sound great. But like the rest of it's fine. I mean, please don't remind me. Put your past behind me. It shines so bright it blinds me. I wish that this would end, and I am not fine. Last night I saw you online. Like, I don't have a lot to comment on the lyrics. They're totally like sappy pop.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I
But
can still relate
expressive.
to this song more than I can relate to the last one. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's funny because I can see how there was a point in my life when I was younger where I felt that way. But like, even if I went through a breakup now, I just don't think I would handle it like that anymore. Like I've kind of changed how I feel about those types of things in general. And I know there's a loneliness and stuff, but like that jealousy is no longer a part of my life. So I find it harder to personally relate to this. But younger me, holy shit, I was all over that emotion. And I have to give them credit on the emotional expressiveness of the song,
yeah.
even if the lyrics are a little cheesy.
What I like too is that this is like it's a sequel to the song Josie. Yeah, my girlfriend. Na 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 na.
Like I've heard
Like,
it, but
it's great that like they're so naked about their personal lives, right? Because that's Blink-182. Like they didn't really care to shroud things in metaphors or like whatever. Like this is how we feel. This is what's going on in our lives. So you see how happy he was on Josie. Like, yeah, my girlfriend, blah 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 blah, vacation. I don't remember all the lyrics.
Right.
And then on this one, it's just like, fuck you, Josie, because
I just
obviously
forget
they've
you
broken
were
up at this
there.
point, right? So like, this is a 4.5 on 5 for me.
you know what I give it?
4.2.
4.5 on 5.
Oh hey.
Yo, dude, listen to the drums. Listen to the sound of this song. Like honestly, it's a. I mean, if the lyrics were political, it would be a 5 on 5, hands down to me. Anyway, let's talk about one of the two. Let's call them throwaway tracks on this album. First Date. I'd like to thank Carl Smallwood. Fact Find with him. It's a great YouTube channel. But one of his episodes was on how Blink-182's most famous song was like written in 10 minutes. So I had to click on that video. I'm not sure if it was First Date or the other throwaway track on this album, but here's the story. So the execs came in to check out the album, and they were not pleased that there was no What's My Name Again. There was no fucking Small Things. Where's the summer hit? Blah, 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 blah. So Tom and Mark were a little bit mad at this situation, and respectively, they each went home and whipped a song out of their ass, came back in, and it turned out that both these tracks turned into their biggest fucking hits. Who knew? So I'm pretty sure it was this one that was written in literally 10 minutes, but if it's not this, it's the other one we'll reference later on. So for now, yeah, imagine this track, a 10-minute throwaway song, turned out to be this fucking great. And I'm going to call it a great song because, I don't know, there's something about the energy, again, to this project and whatnot. But how do you feel about it?
Oh man, I fucking love this song. We used to warm up to band practice with this in high school because it's stupid fucking easy to play.
I actually learned to play the bass of this song.
Yeah, you learn to play the 4-note bass line?
Yo, it's fast. It's really hard to keep up when you're playing with your fingers.
That is fair.
I don't think I ever could play it at speed.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't play with his fingers.
I don't care.
Mark Hoppus does not play the song with his fingers.
A younger me would have said picks are for people that aren't cool. I modified that statement.
It's a different sound. I mean,
either way, I respect it now, but younger me was stupid.
but yeah, I mean, Blink-182, if nothing else, are great at putting together a song. Like, they are really, really good at that. At just adding little touches, little melodic variations that make a song better than what it would be coming from another artist. And, I mean, Travis Barker is obviously clutch, right? Like, he is the element that elevates it from
excellent.
here to here. You know, this song with a simpler drum beat might not have worked as well as it does. But there's something to be said for the melodies and for Forever and Ever. As much as it is
forever.
Exactly all the small things, like exactly. It's timeless. And the feeling, the sentiment of just not knowing what to do on a first date as a young person, or as anyone really, because that's one of the most stressful things you can experience is going on a first date with someone, right?
And I feel like even as a growing up, hearing this song, I kind of think back to some of my earlier first dates of like back when I had no game. And I think my favorite line of this is definitely the first kiss thing. Like,
A target that I'm probably gonna miss.
Yeah, because it's such a good double entendre. Yeah, I dread the thought of our very first kiss, a target I'm probably gonna miss, because it's on the literal sense of what if I try to kiss you and I miss and I fucking hit the wrong thing, or what if I'm trying to kiss you and I strike out for the night because you don't feel me, and those are two really legitimate fucking feelings that you have on that date. Even now, if I was going on a first date, I'd probably wonder about that shit and whatnot. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all silly. Like, is it wrong if I think it's lame to dance? Do you like my stupid hair? Like, it is just the most innocent. He didn't think about it. Thought it. Well, I mean, he probably said, "Well, this is my first date in the car. Can't wait." He didn't even.
And
like,
that's what I mean. When I say like this was the transition from like fun-loving young Blink to like very serious, very morose older Blink, because like this was really the last time that they had a song like this in any of their incarnations.
I miss you. I know. I really like that song, but that's fine.
It's fine. It is what it is.
I prefer Always.
What?
I prefer Always. Always is a sick fucking song.
But this is just a fun-loving song that it's very youthful. It's very energetic. It's very fluffy. It's very light, but at the same time, it's very relatable. Like this is a 5 for me, hands down.
4.5 on 5 for me. I mean, I can't say it's better or worse than online songs. I don't actually. I feel like they're equal. I feel like when the album plays through, I like all three of the first 3 songs. Equal level of likingness, right?
Fair enough.
Different. They're all kind of different, which is part of why they're all consistently feeling great at this thing. I can't relate to the lyrics as much now that I'm in my 4th year of a relationship as much as whatever, but you know, it's nice, it's cutesy, it's fine. I really love the overall sound, composition, structure. Travis's like that thing he does at the very beginning to hook you in with that drum, like I can't do it with my mouth or anything, but like that particular hook he does, it's just so memorable, you know? Anyway.
Memorable?
Yeah, I say that word wrong. That's just what it is. Let's talk about, though, if you'd like, Happy Holidays, You Bastard.
Fucking hot dogs, Labor Day, and my grandpa just ate 7 fucking hot dogs, and he shit.
All right, so Mark was sitting at home on Christmas Eve, and he had a lot of presents to wrap, and he hadn't done it, so he wrote a song, and then proceeded to wrap his presents, and it took him till 3 a.m. And this was the "Piss Off Your Parents" track. Is how Tom put it in the liner notes. Like that's the whole reason this song exists, is so that you can play it and make your mom mad. In case you guys were not aware, it's Christmas Eve and I've only wrapped 2 fucking presents. It's Christmas Eve and I've only wrapped 2 fucking presents, and I hate your guts. I hate your guts, and I'll never talk to you again unless your dad'll suck me off, unless your mom will touch me cock and ejaculate into a sock.
Yeah.
And then it's Labor Day and his grandpa ate hot dogs and he shit his pants.
It's a dumb song.
But
it's a 5 on 5 for me.
I'll give it a 4.25. And I'll tell you why. Because I wanted this to keep going and it just ends. And I mean, it's fucking great. And it could have gone on for another 90 seconds and been fucking epic. And I know. I don't care. I wanted it to be longer because it's fucking solid. But it's really hard to justify this as like...
I love it because it's so short and because it's so stupid. Like, this is so punk rock in its execution. Like, this may be the most legitimately punk rock thing on this entire record. You know what I mean? Just this short, stupid, fuck you to everything just by being nothing. You know what I mean?
Completely get all that.
What's their other song? I Wanna Fuck a Dog in the Ass.
That's a bonus track.
Right? Like, that song is just as stupid, and that one would also get a 5 from me. But this one is... It's just because it's so dumb and hilarious, and you can't help but smile when you hear this song, and that's what music is for, right?
Is it's mostly the drums and the actual music driving it that I love a lot more than I care for the lyrics.
That's it. They make me smile, and that's it. Like
I get it.
It's a 40-second song. It's hilarious. It's the same reason I love Anna Nicole as a cunt.
But I like that one more.
By Sum 41. Like
I could feel that one more.
Or like You Suffer by Napalm Death.
I don't know that one.
The shortest song I think ever recorded because it's just and it's over. And it's great. Love it. 5 on 5 for that song too, in case anyone was curious.
Okay, 4.2.
Punk rock as fuck.
4.25 for this one, and that's where I'm going to stand on that. I don't hate it. I think that I will never skip this song. I mean, fuck, it's halfway over before you'd even get your finger to the damn phone.
You know?
Anyway, let's go on to a story of a lonely guy. yeah, this song is totally back to sappy breakup shit and whatnot, but like I can't help but fucking love it. Like Blink is not making me feel like, oh, shut up. You know, like it could have gone that way with the subject matter.
Like, that's how I feel about a lot of the next album.
That's fair.
But this one, it's just so fun.
Like, I mean, you've all had that moment where she makes you feel like you're raining outside, and when the storm's gone, you're still torn up inside. And I'm not going to say this is the most like growing up version of it.
No, because I get so nervous on days like this, like the prom.
I'm too scared to move because I'm a fucking boy. But that line too is like, it's a really interesting line, like just to emasculate yourself in such a way. And we've all kind of.
But this is also it's from the point of view of a teenager.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
Obviously.
This album is meant to. Okay, so the band is of the mind that this is both for teens and it's also, but more importantly, for adults. Like in their mind, this was actually like, I know that it's totally an album for young people and teenagers, even lyrically, but they were trying to like make it super universal, and so they're very adamant to point that out as often as they could at the time.
Sure.
But
like you can be trying to do whatever you want.
But like, I mean, I get it. It's just like, remember when I was in the grocery store and now's my time.
I was just gonna bring up that line because that line has always bothered me.
Now's my time. Lost the words, lost the nerve, lost the girl, left the line. Like,
No, it's the remember when I was in the grocery store. What is that doing there? What is that?
he was literally remembering that time he was in
And
the
that's it. That's all you get. Now's my time. What?
Lost. Well, kiss, it ties it in with left the line. So he was obviously in line at the cash, and he saw the girl, and he wanted to go talk to her, but he fucking cowered it out, and he left the line of the grocery store. But that star, it doesn't shine. So read my book with a boring ending.
A short story of a lonely guy
who fell behind. You know what? Are you trying to say that because you didn't get to go and you read books? That was lame. Because that was my life for a while, and it turned out to do me real good at 30. Just throwing it out there.
It's fine. I mean, I love this song. Like I
It's
can still
pretty
sing
fun.
along to this song today. It's a 4.5 on 5.
4.25 on 5.
I don't know that I'm gonna give a grade as low as. Oh, I gave it for the first one. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, it's like this. Like, this doesn't have the same upbeat, awesome, like, instrumentation, I think, behind it. I think it's solid. I think it's okay. But it's trying to rely more on the lyrics and the singing than it... And
Sure. But I also really like the guitar line in this song. That like Tom is either from this point either not at all creative with his guitar lines or too creative, you know what I mean? And like this is where he hit that sweet spot
Okay.
of like this is a really cool line. Like it's not trying to do too much. It's just really atmospheric and it really adds to the mood. And obviously Travis Barker's drumming in the verses is really beyond like it's awesome. The rhythm.
It's just, I feel like the hook, albeit it's nice, it's just not so exciting or interesting.
It's not fast.
But it's also kind of like it's a little bit relatable, but it's mostly just a little bland compared to a lot of the other ones on this project, right? Because it is sandwiched between excellent fucking songs.
What's cool about it is like their use of hooks, right? And their use of subliminal hooks that like that Mark adds, like they really play back and forth with each other really, really well.
Okay.
And that's what makes a good pop song, right? Like you need those hooks, those little that little extra step that they take.
4.25 is still in the realms of I fucking really dig this shit.
Yeah,
it's just not like, I mean, if I'm going to this album, this isn't even in the first 6 songs I'm gonna pick. You know, like, so yeah, I don't know. You want to move on to the other throwaway song?
The Rock Show.
She's so cool, gonna stick it through the window. Everything's better when she's.
Just to be clear, this is the other song that was written and might be the 10-minute one, but I think it was the other one that was 10 minutes. This one actually sounds like a little more effort went into it, in my opinion, but that's just my thoughts. Do you obviously like this song?
I really like this song. I love the video. I'll never forget the video for this song. You know what I mean? There's only so few music videos that like you really remember.
What's My Age Again? They're running around naked.
That's What's My Age Again, eh?
Yeah.
I thought that was this one.
No. That's What's My Age Again, where they run around naked.
No, okay, but this one, it's the midgets.
Yeah, they reference them.
Yeah, okay.
So they're kind of like parodying their other video.
Yeah, that's it. So I really remember this music video. And this song this song made me want to find out what the Warped Tour was and go to it.
That was my first concert. Was the '06 Warped Tour ever in my life.
My second concert ever was the '04 Warped Tour.
That's cool. He beat me to shows.
Yeah, my first one was Linkin Park.
Nice.
Same year.
Summer Sanitarium.
No.
The other one with
Linkin
POD.
Park, POD, Hoobastank, and Story of the Year.
my history teacher went to that show and rubbed it in my face.
It's great. It's a really good show. This show, the first band that I saw was Yellow Card. And they were great.
Okay.
You know, there's a place off Ocean Avenue. But
okay.
this song, man, it's just a 5.
Hang
That's all
around
it is.
behind a clip. Anyway, it's basically another silly one about going, or it's basically the first date, but what happens if it goes pretty well and you're like got the rock show, and then it plays out a little relationship. But like it's cool because it starts off like whatever, hanging out behind the club, getting the weekend acting stupid, getting drunk with my red friends. He meets the girl, and then he meets or whatever, and then it like goes into like this bridge where it almost feels like time's passed, and you feel like this energy where it's like black and white photos of her on my wall. I waited for her call. Anyway, She always kept me waiting. And then if I ever had another chance, I'd still ask her to dance because she kept me waiting. So obviously this girl fucking just like drops him or whatever.
Yeah. Well, because this is exactly the experience of meeting someone at a concert, right? Or at a club. Like, you can't hear what the fuck is going on. I love that line. She said what? And I told her that I didn't know. Like, that's what it is. You're in the crowd. Music is blaring. Everyone's screaming. You're dancing with a girl. And what? I don't know. Have fun. Like, and that's it. That's the whole thing. And you're in love in that moment because it's the adrenaline and the what does ecstasy bring out in you? The fucking
Ecstasy.
no, but
Dopamine.
Dopamine levels are up.
Your endorphins are rushing.
Endorphins are rushing.
Your
And
hormones.
you're in love, and you see this girl, and you're dancing, and maybe
That's fair.
And that she said what, and I told her that I didn't know, and that was it.
And especially like at a closed inside rock show, like not like maybe the Warped Tour, because I feel like you can kind of hear people in the outside environments.
Yeah, it depends on the show.
Yeah, maybe.
And how close you are to the stage.
That's fair. But yeah, no, I mean, it has this certain energy. It's pretty beautiful. And then it has like this honest conclusion. And you got the feeling that this is a lot more anecdotal. Like these are their stories that we're hearing. Whatever they're feeling here, it's some real shit. Like they're all kind of probably dealing with being famous. Because if I'm understanding it, this is when they got. This is the way they described it is they went from not even sure how they're going to be doing it, touring wherever, to 5-star hotels, and they don't even know how to process this shit. So that's where they're at now. Their whole life is flipped upside down. 4.5 on 5, man. This track is kind of cool. Like it goes on in the way like I'll never forget
girl at the rock show.
now. It's just beautiful. Like it's just perfect energy. Travis hits it super punk, I find. I'm like, it fits. Like this was meant to be played at the Warped Tour. You know, like they knew what was going to happen next. But yeah, 4.5 on 5. You gave it a grade?
Yeah, 5.
5? Anything else to say?
Nope.
Stay together.
on.
Stay together for the kids, Syd. So I believe it's Tom, whose parents got divorced when he was 18 years old. It
Okay.
might be Mark. I don't actually know. One of their parents got divorced at 18. They came home from skateboarding. They'd been out all day. They were scratched to fuck up and shit. And then they got home, or they saw like all the dads had moved out and the furniture was gone. And this is kind of the emotions of that experience put into a song form. And my parents got divorced when I was 18. Like my dad kind of ran away to Toronto with this person. As a vile person, and we just didn't hear from them for like a day, almost a day, because if it had been a day, you can sue them for abandonment, but in 18 hours he called like a fucker. So basically, yeah. So when I heard this, like, I mean, when the first time I heard this, my parents are in the middle of like shit's not great at that point. Like I'm a teenager, it's a few years before my dad dips out, so it's obviously not perfect. And like, I don't know. This song has always resonated with me as this like powerful expression of what it's like to live in like a broken home where your parents are clearly staying together for the fucking kids, you know? Like it's hard to wake up when the shades have been pulled shut. This house is haunted. It's so pathetic. It makes no sense at all. It's ripe with things to say. The words rot and fall away. If this stupid poem could fix this home, I'd read it every day. Like
Yeah. It's real, man. It's real.
it's like some dark and like shit. Like, and I mean, I kind of know what it's like to live in that environment where you wake up and like, you know, you hear them fighting. You hear like my dad would like throw shit around. Maybe one of them storms out for 3 hours or whatever, and you just wait. So here's your holiday. Hope you enjoy it this time. You gave it all. It was mine. So when you're dead and gone, how will you remember this night? 20 years now lost. And my parents were at their 20th year when that happened too. So just like. Yeah. Like when they ended up getting divorced, so like hearing it now, I'm like, fuck, because it kind of was like they pissed away 20 years of their life just because of me and my brother, you know, like it's not right. And like I don't even talk to my dad now. Everything's so fucked up in regards to all of these stupid choices that ended up getting made. And
what's really cool about this song too is it's like I think this is one of the best examples of how to properly use two vocalists on a song, right? Because Mark is singing from the kid's point of view in the verses, and Tom is singing from the parents' point of view in the choruses. So you feel the anger on their side and the frustration and like what they're stuck together for. But on the same token, you hear the kids just like, why can't this just be okay? Why can't we all just get along, right?
Man, it's like I see them every day. We get along, so why can't they? If this is what he wants and this is what she wants, then why is there so much pain?
Yeah.
That line, like they want to get divorced, but if that's really the right thing, why does it hurt so much? I mean, as a kid at 18, I couldn't process that shit. I mean, I can barely process this shit at 30, and I've had a couple of fucked up relationships now. But, like, I don't know, man. I've never heard a song that ever, like, really struck that nerve so deeply in me for how maybe it's just the timing, and I happen to have the same very similar experience that he did from the point of view of this song. But, fuck, it's a 5 for me, man. Like, I don't know if objectively this is the best song on this record, but it's definitely the song that, like, I honestly almost tear up every time I hear it. Like, even now I'm feeling emotional more than I'd like to admit just thinking about this track.
And again, too, like, this is how you evolve as an artist, right? Because, again, they had never done anything this poignant, and it really is. It's a very poignant song. Like, it's
a single, right? I'm pretty sure.
I think it was a radio single. I don't know that this one had a video.
Fair.
It might have gotten a live video.
If it did, you can tell I did my research on the videos for this episode.
Yeah, but no, it's like it's a 5. It's a 5 for me too, absolutely. And what's cool about this track too, like instrumentally, they just add keyboard to it. I don't know if that was a production decision or if that was a decision on their part. But again, there's a layer of keyboard going through the song, and they included it live when they did the talk show circuit for this track,
and which
is cool.
I don't know if we mentioned it on camera because I know we talked about it a bit off, but just how for the chorus of this they wanted to use every fucking pedal they had, and so they turned them all on and just crank away compared to like that like soft verse and stuff, and it's just the perfect contrast that was needed. I don't know, like 5. Like I could just go on for a while about this, but you know, anyway, it's a roller coaster.
Roller coaster.
Around the coast will probably never clear. Can I please go home now?
I like how this song starts off with like a simple chorus, all calm and stuff, before the song kicks in, and then when the chorus kicks in, it's all like it's the same, but it's just like on steroids. Awesome. I don't know. How do you like this one?
What I like about this one is I had that dream about you again where I wait outside until you let me in, and there I stay. Because I've had that dream about a girl. I've had that dream. And I also like, I've had that dream
Did
about
she drive
you again,
your car off a
where
fucking
you drive
bridge?
my car right off a fucking cliff.
Oh, it's a cliff, right?
Because, I mean, it's tongue-in-cheek, right? But at the same time, it's a really honest emotion. And it's roller coaster. Favorite ride, like, this is a roller coaster. What the fuck is happening in this relationship? Like, hot, cold, yes, no, love me, hate me.
This one is
like,
actually because he was in a relationship with somebody and he was forced to keep it on a secret. So he was, for whatever reason, it had to stay on the low. And that's what ended up spiraling into this particular track.
That's great. And that is a roller coaster in and of itself, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're trying to keep a relationship secret and there's heat. Like, that's hot, right?
You just want to fucking tell everyone.
But that, yeah. Anyway, this song is a 4.7 because I don't think it's as good as the last one. But it is, like, like nostalgically, I really like this song a lot.
mean, nostalgically, this song was one of the ones like when I thought of this album, the first 3 songs that popped out to me was Anthem Part Two, this one, and One We've Yet to Talk About. Believe it or not, over the hits and everything. Yeah, those were like the obvious choices, I guess. But those really, these 3, like this song, like I remember when I was younger, how much it fucking blew my mind and shit. And I mean, it's great energy, like breathing deeply, walking backwards, finding strength to call and ask her. Like, you know, those are like honest fucking emotions. Even if it's not like at the beginning of a relationship and shit, you know, like I was not necessarily full of boldness and let's say I was an indecisive coward when I was younger. So I can highly relate to a lot of this shit. And it's kind of like you don't feel so lame knowing Blink was just as lame as you.
Yeah.
And
I think that was really the point of
Yeah.
the first, 3-4 records. Like, everyone has these lame-ass fucking feelings.
So one time I went out to meet this girl, and let's say the circumstances weren't the most honest. Maybe both of us were involved with other people. And she made me wait outside her apartment. This was like I was 10 years ago. Relax, okay? And I had to wait for her to play World of Warcraft up until like 2:30 in the morning, and then she sent me home because the raid didn't finish ending. And so when you hear lines like "Leave me standing here, act like I'm not around, the coast will probably never clear, can I please go home now?" And then I had the dream. Like you can have some moments in your life that end up 10 years ago, people. I'm just throwing it out there. But I like this song. It's a 4.5. Like, I like the transition of flow. Like, it starts off kind of calm.
Yeah.
And then it picks up like a roller coaster. Because I don't know if you guys have amusement parks where you are, but I remember my first time going on the huge one they're on, like the new one that came out, the Boomerang or some shit.
The Goliath.
That's the one.
So it's a ride. There's no loop the loops. There's no twists, but all it does is just go up really, really high and then drop at like an 85-degree angle for like a long time.
Scary.
Fucking scary. It's great.
Shit.
I love it.
But like, it's a roller coaster, and it's a good ride. The Monster's more fun to me. But
because that thing could just... We have a roller coaster in Montreal. I don't know what your amusement parks are like, but we have a roller coaster called the Monster, which was built, I think, in 1967. It's made of wood, and it is still made of wood, and it is so rickety. I don't know how this thing is still open.
Did you know that the rickety is on purpose to add effect?
It gives me a fucking headache.
But the point, like they actually make it feel on purpose like it's a little bit shaky and gonna fall apart to add some effect, even though it's completely fucking safe, right? This is like the key attraction.
Made of wood.
Yeah, but like they maintain the shit out of it as their key like main ride. Anyway, that's come to Montreal and try that shit out.
That thing in your. That's it.
I'm certain it's got like anti-flame shit on it. I think flame retardant is the correct term for that.
Reckless abandon.
That is the next song, yes. I'm going to say this is the most anthemy anthem on this fucking record, and I love it. This is the other song I thought of when I thought back. It's so fucking good, man. Like, I don't know what Syd wants to say here, but like, first of all, it's a 5. Because this shit expresses this youthful, like, expressive, confused, just want to fucking live kind of attitude so well. Like, on and on, reckless abandon. Something's wrong. This is going to shock them. Nothing to hold on to. We'll use this song to lead you on. And then it just starts, right? Like, because that's all, like, calm. Like, on and on. Like, it's subdued and shit. And then, like, it just breaks into this explosiveness as he starts living life. I learned a lot today. Not sure if I'll get laid. I remember that period of my life quite well.
Yeah.
Not sure if I'll fail or pass. Kissed every girl in class. That part never happened to me.
Yeah, a couple. Not everyone.
A couple. But like everybody would waste it all to have a summer that they could call a memory that's full of fun. Fucked up when it's all done. And
that
you know
part
what?
Definitely happened.
So like I didn't get a lot of summers like that. And having not had them, like I kind of get where he's coming from, because I would waste a lot now just to even recreate that shit that maybe I wouldn't, because I'm fucking 30 and I know that I want to have that when I'm sick. That's what I'm basically building my life now so I can act like I'm 16 when I'm 50. That's what I'm going for. But like, and then like, you know, like fucked a girl in a bathroom stall or whatever, or fucked a chick in a parking lot, tried hard not to get caught. Like this, or they fed the dog brownies.
Yeah.
Which... my favorite part was this genius annotation where the person said, at the very least, they picked the safest way for the dog to get high. And I appreciated that. I don't know if the chocolate part's good, but anyway. It's just, basically at the very beginning when I think it's Mark who starts it off, or Tom. I wrote it wrong, but if you listen in one ear, you hear him. In the other ear, you hear the session playing in the background as they're kind of like stuff's happening there. And I never noticed that until like this particular listen through. But yeah, other than that, I give this song a 5. Like it's flawless. It's just everything you'd wanted of a youthful punk anthem, in my opinion.
Well, I think for me, like this, even when I was 9 years old, right? Like this song hit me and I wasn't quite sure why. Like I didn't know what Reckless Abandon meant.
Right.
But like there's an energy to this song that you can't ignore. And then when I got into high school, this song kind of became high school for me. Like this was how I really felt about high school. Like not sure if I'll fail or pass, not kissed every girl in class obviously, but like, you know, not sure if I'll get laid and whatever the rest of the song is. But like it's a great song. It's got a great energy. It's very punk rock. It's very youthful. Again, not something that I can relate to now, but for this one I can listen to it and think back on those memories, and it kind of brings a lot back for me. Like I used to walk to school listening to this song.
You can almost feel like when they wrote this, that's all they were doing was just thinking back on better days.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like I used to walk to school listening to this song. You know what I mean? Like this was my mornings. This record, like, and that just, every time I hear it, those feelings rush back, and that's the mark of a great song. I think is you can hear it and you love it, and it brings back memories and feelings and emotions that you had the first times you heard it, and continuing to listen to it throughout your life. So yeah, this song is a 5 for me too. I think this might be my favorite song on the record.
Yeah, it's definitely the most fun favorite song for me. I don't know if I like this more than the other one, the fucking parents divorcing track. It's hard for me to pick between which one I like more.
Fair enough.
But like I pretty much love this album is what I'm discovered upon listening to it. Although I don't know, to me there is a bit of a dip now as we jump into Every Time I Look for You. How do you feel about this one?
I am a sucker for any song that just starts off with like aggressive octaves, and that's you know what I mean, like and I love that. Like Blink-182 are great at that. The Anthem Part 1 starts like that too. Green Day Letter Bomb starts like that. I fucking love it. A lot of punk rock songs start like that, and anytime that happens, I'm almost instantly that gets me. It's one of my weak spots. It's my kryptonite for music.
Okay.
So I really like this song for that. I also really, really like the hook on this one. Every time I look for you, the sun goes down, and I stumble when this whole thing runs up. I left another message, you are never around. Like, yeah. Anyway, again, it's another song that just reminds me of being young and being in relationships and not quite knowing what the fuck to do. So it's not quite as good as some of the other tracks. I think not quite as memorable, but I love the energy. I love the melodies. I love the back and forth between Tom and Mark. Anytime they do that, it elevates a song for me.
That is most definitely the highlight of this track is the way Tom jumps on to join Mark on the verses.
Yeah.
It is the highlight of this song to me.
So this is a 4.5 for me.
It is a 4 for me. I definitely think that the problem with this song is it's a lesser version of stuff I've already heard. And I feel like even as a kid, like, I don't know that I finished the album so much as I lost interest after Reckless Abandon. So not every playthrough ended. A lot of them, like, I could stop the record at Reckless Abandon in many cases and not feel like I missed out on anything to come at, like, 16. So I didn't spend as much time with the last few songs.
I mean, the thing is for me too, right? This was the first rock record I ever heard all the way through. So I was not skipping songs. You know what I mean?
I'd already gotten like Hybrid Theory at this point, and I had a few other ones.
I hadn't heard any of them. The only CDs that I'd heard were Britney Spears, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. Like I was into that shit up until 9-10 years old, and then All the Small Things and What's My Age Again were on the radio, and I was like, I really like Blink-182. So when I bought this record, and there was guitar and it was heavy and there was swearing, and I was just a kid, and I was like, this is amazing.
I had
to
Offspring's
me.
Americana, and that was my moment. Was on that album.
I didn't hear Americana until after I heard this record.
We should do Offspring next week. That might happen.
We might do Offspring next week.
I think we are, because I love Offspring. So yeah, that's kind of like where so it wasn't my first rock record, but like I had choices. Like I had Hybrid Theory, which turned out to be my favorite band of all time, and then I had like stuff like Offspring's Americana and a few other. I had choices, I guess I could say. So, plus like this song, I don't know. I don't feel the chorus as much as you. Like lyrically, it's just more breakup.
There's a very good chance that a lot of this is nostalgia for me, because I think for a band doing this now, and I have reviewed bands doing this same thing now, and I haven't given them as high grades.
Yeah,
you know what
I know.
But there's also the fact that like Blink-182.
No, they have a charm.
They did it first.
And like
you know what I mean?
Travis's drumming is fucking phenomenal
Yeah.
on this. And honestly, it would be a lower mark without Travis.
Yeah.
Because like I don't really think lyrically there's a lot that drew me in here. I mean, one more point of contention. I need some intervention. Approaching failing tensions. Betray my short attention. Span the distance. Bridge the border. Beg forgiveness round the corner. Like it's fine. It's like filler for Travis to shine with the music. You know, that's how I feel about this track a little bit. And I'm sorry if it's your favorite song. I give this a 4. It is tied for my least favorite song on this album with one other one.
Is that the next one?
No, actually. The next one's a little bit okay. I can deal with it a little bit more. So you guys can all give me one good reason why you disagree.
Every single day, oh yeah.
Yeah, I know what it is, man. This song is kind of like his discovery of him liking punk and being a social outcast and wanting to like affiliate with that. And then when questioned on this, he's just like, well, you know what? Give me one good reason why we need to be like them. Kids will have fun in a fan. They don't want to and don't fit in. And I mean, I feel like Mark Zuckerberg never fit in. I feel like Jeff Bezos never fit in. I feel like the list goes on, and these CEO motherfuckers live like this a little bit more. Look at Steve Jobs. That guy's like the punkest motherfucker ever.
Fair
And like, so when I hear this, I like it really transcends just youthful teenage shit, and it really goes into like outliers in life who just commit to like, I'm an outcast. I'm gonna do that outcast life. I'm not gonna fit in. I don't see why I have to. I don't need to follow your social norms, and I fucking get that
Yeah.
I feel that struggle in my daily life, so I can appreciate where they're coming from. And I mean, you try being 30 and have dreams. People don't like that is something I've learned. So give me one good reason why I need to give up my life, buy a condo, and never have a future. Please, give me a good reason why that needs to be what the fuck I have to do with my life to have success based on how other people define it, you know? Anyway.
We're in a 3-story condo.
I can't stand condos. If you really look into it, Montreal's got a condo housing bubble forming where some scary shit's going to happen, and a lot of young people are going to lose their money in this scam that is right now running. That it's you. When you buy a condo, you buy basically a percentage of ownership into a sharing company, so you don't own anything. You basically are paying rent with a shared landlord ownership. So you actually are no better off in the long run than a person with a lease, if you can sell it. Because in Montreal, wherever you bought your condo, in 2 weeks, a new condo is going to be there. Or in 2 years, a new condo will be put up. So good luck selling it at a profit.
Gentrification, motherfucker.
I think it's a... Anyway, I have my theories on that, but it's a little more than gentrification.
I feel like this song was written very early on in
The writing of this album?
The writing of the album.
Okay.
And I base that on absolutely no prior knowledge, but simply because it sounds a lot more like something that would have shown up
Well, keep
on
in
Enema of the
mind,
State.
all the dreary emotional shit was driven by Tom, and Mark was really fighting to recreate Enema of the State for the whole way through this recording process.
Right, but this is a Tom song. You know what I mean? Like, this is him, and this is the silly, youthful voice that he put on I don't remember the names of the fucking songs on Dude Ranch, but...
I can just picture Mark nagging him for a while, and then he wrote the song.
Yeah. But I mean, I can't say that I relate to the song.
No. I do a bit, but...
I guess. It's a silly song. It really is.
I mean, I don't relate to it at a literal level. I relate to it at a conceptual level.
Sure. That's fair. But I respect the songwriting. I love the drumming.
I still don't like jocks or preps.
I don't think jocks and preps exist.
I'm kidding. I mean, like,
think
we're
that's
past high school.
That's a silly thing that people make up in high school to feel better about themselves, and then you get out of high school and you realize,
preps exist outside of high school, dude.
Sure, but they're just people.
Preppy
They
people.
like things a little cleaner than everyone else, but they're just people. Like, everyone's weird and fucked up, and being preppy is just weird and fucked up, and you're like, why isn't everybody as preppy as me? And that's something that they panic about. I've been friends with a lot of preps, you know what I mean? And I've been friends with a lot of punks, and they're the same. We're all the same.
I won't disagree with that.
So, to me, you know, if you're someone who complains about social norms and social status, you haven't talked to enough people.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with Sid. I've talked to enough people to know he's absolutely correct. I still find I don't get along as well with the jocks and the preps. Because I don't know enough about sports to do the small talk.
My best friend is a personal trainer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like,
And I'm a skinny motherfucker.
that's fair. I don't know
But-
enough about hockey in Montreal to have the conversations.
Sure. But yeah, I mean, this song is a 4.2 for me.
4.25.
Fair.
I think like it's in that like lower end of good on this album, but it's still fucking good, you know? Not to say anything's bad. My lowest mark on this is a 4, which I would call a good song. Anyway, they're probably saying shut up at this point.
So, should we please take them home? Oh no, shut up.
Yeah, it's
My
right.
bad.
I gotta say, this song is petty as fuck.
It's petty as fuck. But what are you
But-
gonna do?
So the relationship ends and he's mad. So it's like, shut the fuck up. She said, I'm going fucking deaf. You're always too loud. Everything's too loud. And then his friends left. And then the place looks dead. So you want to move out. When can we move out? The shit has got to stop. I'll run away. All of this is honest emotion. All of this is petulantly delivered because I'm not even going to say I'm not going to be that petty if I end up being in that moment again. But that's what it feels like. Just the pure pettiness of spite and hurtness that comes from a relationship ending.
But that's
you know?
it. Like, we've all been there.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks.
Yeah, this is not the best delivery of that emotion, in my opinion. Like, get the fuck up. She said your life is meaningless. It's going nowhere. You're going nowhere. You're just the fuck up. She said I'll live alone instead. She said you don't care. I know I don't care. I'll never ask permission from you. Fuck off. I'm not listening to you. I'm not coming home. I'm never going to come back home.
I feel like this is all from her point of view, though, because Mark does that a lot. Like, I don't think he's switching points of view here. I think
Nope.
he's just kind of recounting what she said to him.
Yep. And then the second verse is him. I got too fucked up again and passed out on the plane trying to forget you. I can't forget you. Now sleep on this flight. I'll think about the nights we had to get through. I didn't get you. So there, I think this is literally just Mark was on the plane and he couldn't sleep and he was thinking about all the things she said. Boom. We got the fucking song.
Yeah.
I think
It's not a highlight, but it's not a bad song.
it's a 4.
Yeah, I'll drop a 4 on it, too.
I honestly think this is one of the, if there was a filler song on the album, it
Fair
would
enough.
be this. This could be cut and the album would be better in my opinion.
So now can we please take them home?
Yeah, we can take them home. So I just gotta say, this is not how the album ends for me. I know it's the end of the album, but I didn't know that for a really long time, right? Because it's not like I was young
Yeah.
when I got it. And then I found out a couple of years later that there were other bonus tracks and other people had different discs. And then apparently they just stopped adding those. That was like limited.
Fair
so
enough.
for me, there's still technically, what is it here? Time to Break Up and Mother's Day was on the disc I had. So like, it's a little bit weird to think of this as the end of the album. And I just couldn't get my head there. It's just not the end of the album to me. This album ends with "It's Mother's Day." That's how this album ends for me. And he's been fucking and sucking and touching. But that's not this song at all. This is yeah, I don't know. It's just another one of the more breakup-y stuff here. You know, it happened again. She's cool. She's hot. She's my friend. I'll drive for hours. It's so you leave me nowhere to go. She's unstoppable, unpredictable. I'm so jaded, calculated, wrong. Please take me home. You know, it's that confusion, that same kind of situation. Only it's a little bit more optimistic. Like it's
Well, it's a little more amicable, right? Like, it's just, this isn't working. I bet you're sad. This is the best time we've ever had. But, like, there's just nothing here.
yeah.
And it's sad. But I really like this as a closer. Like, this for me was the closer. This is the
This
version
is
of
the one
disc
where
I
it's
had.
like we were friends and then we dated and now it's fucking
Yeah.
weird. Yeah.
I hope that it lasts. Give and forget the past. Be strong when things fall apart. Honest, this breaks my heart. Like, it's,
Like, why do we have to date? It's too easy to complicate, you know? Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's nice. It's right up there with all the other 4.25s on this project for me. Like,
I have been in a place where I've dated my best friend.
okay.
Like, for a long period of time, and we really tried to make it work, you know what I mean? And it was just not something that was going to work. And we fought and we yelled, and this is over MSN, like, this is all high school shit, right? And it's yelling at each other, and it's caps lock, and you're a fucking like, stupid shit.
Oh my gosh, I just remembered all of my versions of that.
You know? And so I can relate to this song. We still talk, we're still friends.
Yeah.
this wasn't gonna work. Obviously, we're adults now. Like, that was stupid. But I love the rhythmic shift, like the 4 to the 4 fucking snare beat that he gives the chorus, just pounding, like, it's great. And then it goes back to that like syncopated verse riff, and the transition is fucking flawless. Like, this is some next level composition from Travis Barker and from the rest of them to like to build melodically around it. And you know, like, there's the music on this record. It's not complicated, but it's sophisticated, if that makes any sense, right? For the level of youthful kind of fuck offery that the lyrics are,
right.
Like, the music is better than that deserves, and I think that's what really elevates this record. And I think this song is a great encapsulation of that. So this is a 5 on 5 for me for sure.
I wasn't expecting that. I don't agree, but that's totally fine. I also didn't notice the syncopated rhythm or like any of that shit, so he's probably right. Doesn't change how I feel. So let's, I guess, wrap this one up. As for the project as a whole,
What did you give the song, man? Oh, you gave it a 4.25?
Yeah, I did. I did say
Maybe.
that. And but for this album, it's a 4.42. Works out. I don't know if I can call this like a classic, but I can say this is a fucking great record that I would be happy to listen to every like few months for the rest of my life, no problem. Like it's got like the feels, it's got like there's enough here to like keep me there. It's not like the other ones where nostalgia alone may have made me have high grades. I think this is objectively a solid and relatively safe album to like enjoy and like play in public places with a couple of exceptions.
Yeah. I think this record is probably a 4.5 for me. On the nose, easy. I would call it a classic, just because like I think this is Blink-182's best album, and I think that where Blink-182 are in terms of, especially for pop punk, it doesn't get a lot much more influential than Blink-182.
For the second wave of pop punk, as they call it.
Sure.
I don't know, the modern version.
But I mean, you look at Yellow Card, Good Charlotte.
No, I know.
All of these fucking bands that were started to come out of the woodwork like 1999 to like 2006 and are starting again to come out of the woodwork, like Blink-182, and they're not shy about it. Like, these people loved listening to Blink-182, and I think it says something that Blink-182 can still go around the world selling out stadiums without their original lineup. You know what I mean? And they're still releasing records, and the kids are still buying it. Like, this is not the old fans are buying Blink-182 records. Like, the kids are still
like
into Blink-182.
That last album was like a resurgence.
Exactly.
Like it was their first time they charted at like #1 in like 15 years or some shit like that.
Yeah, but they've never left the public eye. You know what I mean? Like, that. You know, Tom is still always doing fucking Angels and Airwaves, and
Plus 44.
Travis is everywhere.
Travis is my favorite. Travis was on XXXTentacion's last album.
Yeah, fucking everywhere. But I think in that respect, that makes this record, and probably the two that came before it, maybe the one that came after it too, probably classics.
I mean, I look at it like, for me, it's pretty straight up. If my math works out to more than a 4.5, I'm calling it a classic. Do I think that this is one of my favorite records? 100%. Do I think that this is one of the most influential pop punk records for the era? 100%. Do I think that it's a classic, that like a must hear? I would say yes, but I don't know if I could objectively say yes.
That's fair. That's
where I'm standing. That's why I can't, like, for me. Like, there's a couple of songs on here that keep it from just being undeniably perfect. And I guess that's a good place to end it for me, at least. I don't know. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. We hope that you like Blink and you like this podcast and enjoyed this shit. So special thanks to Mozart, Lindell Williams, and Super Old School 1994, our patrons. They support us and they're fucking dope. So if you want to join the request raffle and get what you want to see covered or get early access, you can check that shit out. Otherwise, just thank you for being here. It's fucking crazy that you sat here and watched a whole like 90 minutes or whatever the fuck this ends up being.
Or you can skip to the end.
Yeah, if you did that, you're awesome too, because you're here, and hopefully you don't have ad blocker on.
You in here.
Woo! But for real, yeah, I said that. I'm a little bit cheeky, but no, I really love the interaction. So if you don't want to subscribe or like, I don't really care, but I would love it if you could comment and like just share what you thought, your favorite Blink memory and stuff. Because man, in the comments, you guys are fucking awesome, and I love just learning and experiencing shit with y'all.
Or share your favorite Offspring song.
Yeah,
we'll
that's
talk about
coming
that next week.
That is 100% coming. Anyway, thank y'all. Have a wonderful week. Next time. Peace.